Hello, my name's Nan
And my name's John.
and we're tour guides for the Chartist bungalow in Dodford, Worcestershire.
We're going to show you around and introduce you to the Chartist movement.
The 19th century was a period of extreme political discontent, with many people experiencing extreme poverty. Many people believed that commercial and industrial prosperity was being gained at the exploitation of the working classes. These people came together to form the Chartist movement and campaigned for political reform. At the end of the 1830s, only around 1 in 5 men had the right to vote, and these were wealthy or middle-class men who owned property. Chartists believed that the only hope of improving social conditions was by the representation of workers in Parliament, so they drew up the People's Charter. But you may be wondering what this has to do with Rosedene.
Rosedene came to be thanks to Fergus O'Connor, a Member of Parliament and a Chartist leader, who created the National Land Company, a scheme whereby the ordinary worker could own a small holding of 3 or 4 acres of land, together with a small cottage, to be self-sufficient. But more importantly, he had the right to vote. This was a well-meaning scheme, but unfortunately it didn't work. The government fiercely opposed the Chartist aims and had been looking for reasons to shut the scheme down before the Dodford settlement had even been built. A year before its opening day, the National Land Company and the lottery system of allocating plots was declared illegal. It had also run into financial difficulties owing to O'Connor's poor account keeping. Rosedene was sold to an East India Company retiree called William Hodgkins.
Rosedene was part of a large Chartist settlement in Dodford of around 40 plots and remains largely unchanged since it was first occupied. All Chartist cottages were identical, with the same simple structure. They can be identified by the Chartist symbol above the doorway. The original building here had 2 bedrooms, a living room, dairy, store, back hall with well and pump, plus an adjoining piggery, coal house and privy. The well was the only access to water, and this had to be drawn up to make a cuppa, wash, cook and feed the animals. It would have been a hard life, but more probably a paradise compared to the cramped living conditions of the industrial cities. Rosedene passed through several owners until in 1912, when the Crisp family moved in and enjoyed the property for 3 generations. The National Trust purchased the property in 1997.
The 4 acres of land in which Rosedene lies have been carefully restored to reflect the self-sufficient ways of the families who live in the cottages. Fergus O'Connor had written a book for settlers, Practical Work and the Management of Small Farms, and the residents set to work growing potatoes and wheat in the heavy clay soil. A spork, a combination of a spade and a fork, was used to ease the digging of the soil in the 4 acres allotted to each lucky bidder. Growing strawberries turned out to be more successful, and settlers used a pony and cart to carry the produce overnight to the market in Birmingham. Today, the 4 acres are certified as organic. We rotate the crops on a 4-year cycle, with each rotation providing different benefits for soil health. In the orchard, we have an interesting variety of fruit trees, including Pershore and Warwickshire Drooper plums, and Pitmaston pineapple and Worcester pearmain apples.
Rosedene represents a remarkable time in our heritage, a time of political reform. Although men secured the vote, it would be another 60 years before women got the vote.
Today, Rosedene is a popular holiday let. It is open for guided tours on Heritage Open Days. It is thanks to people like you giving us your support that we're able to preserve these places of special interest. Why not visit the National Trust website to see how else you can help?